You're listening to a Rock Candy podcast.
Hi, my name is Stephen Long, and I host a show here on Rock Candy called Sacred Tension. It's about the spiritual discipline of asking questions. If you find yourself uncomfortable in your faith, or if you find yourself caught between modern science and ancient religion, or if you're curious about the journeys of others who are sorting out faith and doubt, Sacred Tension is a place where nothing is off limits. You will find conversations with pastors, cult experts, spiritual leaders, and skeptics, all discussing the ways we navigate the faiths we were given. Find Sacred Tension right here on Rock Candy and wherever you listen to podcasts.
Hey everybody, Reese Roper here. I am one of the hosts of this podcast, or as we like to call it, a diabolical brainwashing machine, the Pickle and Boot Shop. I just wanted to put out another disclaimer for this week's episode. One, I mess up the address of our Twitter account. I said it's at PB Shop. It's actually capital P, capital B, Oot Shop. PB Oot Shop. That's what it is on Twitter. And last week, I tried to set a precedence of censoring out some of the bad words, or the more vulgar words that I say. And I'm already too lazy to do that again this week. So I hope your kids aren't listening. And if they are, you need to have a talk with them about using grown-up words, which my parents, I think, still have to have that talk with me. Anyway, thanks for listening. I hope you guys hate it.
Get yourself a pickle. Get yourself a boot. Joey Reese and Pickle and Boot Shop. Pickle time is happening. Pickle time. I go down to get some pickles. With your grandma and your kids. I go downtown. With your grandma and your kids. Boot time. Pickle and boot time. Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids. Stay for the squids. Boots. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some booze inside your hands. Put that pickle in your pants. Get some booze inside your hands. 1996, we start this.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to episode 2 of the Pickle and Boot Shop podcast. I'm
Yeah.
Joe. This is
My name is Reese Roper.
Reese Roper. We are one washed up Christian ska punk singer, and the other one whose career is still going pretty strong. What was that? What was that?
I got a soundboard on my phone.
Oh,
God knows what viruses I'm putting on this thing, but yeah. I'm ready. I
yeah.
am ready for podcasting.
Yeah, and you did that at the perfect time because I had just mentioned the Insiders, and whenever it's going to be like Pee-wee's Playhouse. Whenever I say the Insiders, I want that thing to wolf whistle.
All right, damn it. Sorry. Let's try that again. Can you say just something about the Insiders?
Yeah, so this podcast, if people are still listening, it's about a washed-up ska punk singer and one whose career is still going pretty well. Thank you very much. No big deal.
It's you.
Yeah,
The Insiders.
the Insiders.
How's that?
Yeah, oh, I screwed it up again. Let's try it again. We'll try it again.
Yeah.
And if whether we're editing this or somebody else is editing this, leave all this part in.
Leave it.
Leave it.
We don't have any other content.
We got nothing else. We got right now. We have this scheduled to go for 20 minutes. This is a 20-minute bit.
And I've got 120 buttons to pick from here, so we can keep going.
Matt Pinfield would be proud. 120 buttons. I heard that's what he started after his video show left MTV. Dude, this is gonna crack me up. This is gonna crack me up all night.
So, what's the name of your musical group again, Joseph? Hit me with
The
that.
Insiders.
Yes. I did it. I did it, man. I'm ready.
All right. So people, if you are tuning in, you got through episode 1. This is episode 2. All right.
2.
We're making a number 2. We're
got
making
through
a
the
number
first 2
one,
all night.
and now we're making a number 2.
Yeah.
All night long, we'll be sitting here making a number 2.
Sitting down.
Sitting here in happy baby, sitting down,
Yeah.
just trying to grunt out our number 2, like our second episode ever. And hopefully you guys are coming back. You're listening. Maybe this is the first time you stumbled into it. What this is Reese Roper from Five Iron Frenzy, Joe Yerke from The Insiders, 2 of the greatest ska bands ever in the history of the world coming together to talk nonsense and fun and nostalgia.
Maybe we should just say 2 of the ska bands ever. We are in 2 of the ska bands ever.
Yes.
Yeah.
2 of the ska bands ever.
Dang it.
And
there. Got
dude,
it.
that thing is going to make me laugh all night. Like, it's so corny. It's so corny. It's phenomenal. I'm loving it. And I'm loving it. It's like McDonald's. I'm loving it.
We have 3 supporters that we need to talk about later, but this is the kind of stuff that they are paying for.
This is the highbrow material they are paying for. And what I want to ask you about, getting into this, getting into the weeds of what this is and why people are tuning in. We both had bands. We both had bands back in the 90s. You still have a band. I don't. I have podcasts and I have a dog. That's what I have. And I have athlete's foot.
Definite possibility of you having a band at any time. Because last time when we played in Detroit, you were like, what do you think about us playing 3 songs beforehand? And
you guys were like, nope, and dashed it.
No, we were like, you need to play a whole set. That's going to be weird. And then you were like, ah.
Yeah, because I can't remember. We talked about this on the other podcast when I had you on interviewing on my other podcast, I do The Average Jerks. I can't remember the lyrics to more than 3 songs.
Yeah. Have you ever heard Five Iron Frenzy?
Yes, I have.
I can't. And it's like a running joke. It is what keeps people coming back, is that they get to laugh at me.
See, you just lip sync pantomime through your way through a song.
Yeah. They just like, what happens is
you step up to the plate.
Step up to the plate and then forget all the lyrics.
Yeah. Well,
there's too many songs. Also, like, why did they let me write lyrics? They all sound the same. It's all the same stuff. Why does it matter if I just make stuff up when I'm up there? Doesn't matter.
It doesn't.
Just sing. I'm singing.
It doesn't. And the venues that are being played at now, you can't hear the lyrics anyway.
That's right.
You know what I mean?
What? I know why they're coming. I'm a fairly attractive, still young man.
Nailed it. Boom.
And hold on.
Your money, baby. Your money.
I'm not. I don't think that's why they're coming. They're coming to laugh. They pointed me and laughed.
True. And that is a big draw. When you guys planned Five Iron, like when you started Five Iron, way back in the beginning, I don't even know how you started it. All I know is I met you like summer of '96.
You met me the next year.
Yeah.
We were not together very long when we met.
Yeah. But like, did you have that from the beginning? Like when you started Five Iron, did you know that like, were you like, I'm going to take this serious, like we're going to be serious about this? Or were you like, this is going to be a ska band, but also like a comedy group? Like, did you have that in mind, or did that come from it?
I think we were less funny at the beginning. We joked around less. But I think, like when you start a band, you're afraid to be in front of people. And suddenly you're like, what are we going to say while these guys are tuning behind us?
Right. That's exactly it. And were you like me? Did you maybe when those nerves start to go away and you started to, like the first times that you started to say stuff and people laughed or people were digging what you were saying, was that like a high for you? It was for me.
Yeah. Were you class clown?
Yes, in high
Yes.
school, I got class
Also,
clown.
same,
Yes.
me.
Yeah.
So the reason you got, like you were just like, yeah, this is cool. Same thing in high school because you're just like, well,
That's it.
no one likes me, but I'm really funny.
Yeah, I'm not as good looking as half the school, but I can make people laugh. So that's like what it is. And when we were on stage, the thing is, I don't think people like remembered the insiders as like funny. You guys were the funny ones. I always kind of looked at it like the Supertones were like the like youth group crowd. So like
Yeah.
the good kids.
Good
then
kids.
And then you guys were like the funny guys, kind of like a Real Big Fish type deal. You guys would do like stage stuff like Aquabats or Less Than Jake. And then there was us who we actually had like a hardcore following. So like back home, like we would play with hardcore bands all the time. And in Detroit, there were a lot of ska shows where it would be ska bands and hardcore bands. So
Wow.
like we had kids at our shows that are wearing like Earth Crisis t-shirts and stuff like that. And, and they're at, ska shows.
That's a problem with being from Detroit is everybody's just got a little bit of an edge. You're a little hardcore.
A little edgy in this town. Yeah.
If you grew up in Detroit, you've had a gun pulled at you on you at least once.
I've been shot at twice.
There you
I've been
go.
I've been shot at twice.
There you go. There you
What's
go.
hilarious is on tour, I remember multiple times. This happened, I would say more than twice. More than twice. After the show, kids would realize that they had locked their keys in their car.
Yeah.
And they would come back in and we'd be there still, cleaning up or packing up. And kids would be like, hey, you're from Detroit. Can you get into my car? Like they just thought like we learned to like Slim Jim a door open, before we learned to walk.
It's this Ferrari over here. Do you think you can help me out?
Yeah. Can you get us into it?
Also, I forgot I don't have the keys and I need to get home. Can you start it for me?
You're
I know
right.
there's these two wires underneath.
Yeah. That's
You rub
basically
them
what
together.
Yeah, that's basically what they were. They just thought, oh, they're from Detroit. They can get us into our car.
But did you?
No,
Oh,
we didn't.
Joe.
No, because what then people realize is we're from the northern suburbs
Yeah.
of Detroit.
Yeah.
That was another thing we always wrestled with. Like when we started, and ladies and gentlemen, again, tuning in to the Pickle and Boot Shop, we call it PBS. As short, but we don't want to get sued. But the Pickle and Boot Shop, PBS. This first episode, well, this is kind of like the second episode, but it's kind of all the stuff we wanted to talk about on the first episode. But me and you went off on like a billion tangents.
We did.
And so to start, like this is kind of starting what we want to talk about is kind of going through the chronological like timeline of like how a band operates and how Five Iron worked, Insiders worked, stories from back in the day, a little bit of nostalgia and stuff. But that's the thing. That's one of the things that when we started as the Insiders, people would be like, where are you from? And we were like, Royal Oak. Well, no one knows where Royal Oak is. So then they'd be like, where's that? And you'd be like, oh, it's just north of Detroit.
It's next to Livonia. That's how you
It's
steer
close.
people around.
It's close to Livonia. So like we just got so used to saying like, after a while you get so sick and tired of like it's north of Detroit, that then you just start saying Detroit.
Yeah.
But none of us are from like Detroit, except now like our guitar player who took over for Kyle, he lives in Detroit.
Yeah.
He owns in fact, I interviewed him. If you guys look up The Average Jerks, I interviewed him on that, and he owns like a bar now. He owns a tiki bar.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So that was like us. It's like we had to figure out, is that the same with you guys, or were you from Denver proper, or were you from outside of Denver?
It doesn't matter. Like I don't know. Like the only time you end up talking about Denver suburbs is when there's a shooting, like a mass shooting. They're like, oh, I know where Aurora is, or Littleton.
Yep.
Centennial. They've had like 4 mass shootings in Denver.
Yeah. What's up with
Sad.
that?
I don't know.
You guys need to calm down. Do you say calm down? Like, do you put the L in there? Do you say calm? Do you say calm down? Or do you say calm? Like
Calm
like
down.
C-O-M, calm down? Or do you
I
say
think I do
calm?
say it. Yeah, but I think
down.
I do. Calm down. I have the weirdest accent too because my folks are from Northern Ohio. My mom's actually from a suburb of Detroit, Toledo.
What? Oh yeah, Toledo should be Michigan.
It should be. It
was like a bartered thing in history. Like we had Toledo. Toledo was part of Michigan, and then after some dispute, they were like, "We'll give you Toledo if we could have like some island, like Grosse Pointe Island or something like that."
Yeah, I think Michigan was trying to get rid of Toledo. If you've ever been there,
no, I think it was a good deal in the end.
Yeah,
but you know what I wish was ours was Cedar Point. Cedar Point's good. That's good. So, ladies and gents, if you're from Ohio, I mean, I'm sorry about that, but you do have Tony Pacos from Toledo.
Man, so good.
Tony Pacos, fantastic. Hungarian chili dogs.
It's so good.
And you have Cedar Point, which is nice.
And Jamie Farr. National hero, played from MASH.
I love MASH. I loved MASH. I still like it. Whenever it's on, I try and watch it as much as I can. Yeah. I tried to, it was on Netflix, every season. I tried to watch it all through, and I couldn't. That was a feat. That was a feat that I failed at.
Yeah. I don't know.
So back to the beginnings.
Back to the beginnings.
The band that we know now as Five Iron, were all of you is that all the original people? Or did you have a drummer that nobody knew about and Andy kind of took over and then you guys got bigger? No. Or did you have horn players or?
Yeah. So what happened was Keith and I were best friends. Keith, the old bass player, and I were best friends since 8th grade. We were in the same youth group. We were best friends. And then his mom literally moved across the alley from us. So it was my freshman year in high school. So for high school, it was just Keith and I hanging out at each other's house. We were already best friends. It was amazing. So he and I were just always we want to start a band. And what we were into was metal. So we ended up trying to start a thrash metal band.
Okay.
Where he learned to play bass, and I thought I learned to play guitar, but I suck at it. I'm barely better than I was then, and it's 30 years later.
I'm the same way. Way.
Yeah. And I don't know. We put up a flyer in the Bible bookstore we'd always go to, and we were just you can ask Mike about it. We should interview him. It was we're trying to start a thrash metal polka. We just threw all this stuff in because we were very awkward and goofy. And Micah,
I'm glad you've grown up.
Yeah, totally.
I'm glad you've put that behind you.
Thank the Lord. So we put this flyer up, and then we were just Micah's the only one that called, by the way. So we have we have a tryout for him at our church, which is where our poor youth pastor was just yeah, you guys could on Saturday go up on stage and mess around with the instruments. So Micah shows up. I'm can you play this? And he's just shredding, just tearing it up. Yeah, I can play that. And we're just do you know any drummers? And his brother had to drive him because he couldn't drive. He's 15. His brother's yeah, I guess I could drum. And so all of a sudden we were just we have a band. It quadrupled the value of Keith and I. And so we just started messing around, playing stuff. My mom was very against us. She did not want me to do music or be in a band, which is ironic because she used to be in a band and she did music. She was a professional singer when she was in college and was just no, not at all. Your grades are too good. You're going to be a doctor. And my dad also, who loved music, was just no, but possibly because they heard us playing and it was not good at all. We ended up,
I was going to say, so what made you go from metal to ska? What made you pick ska?
We liked thrash metal. We liked bands like Deliverance and The Crucified. We liked Metallica, but we weren't allowed to listen to Metallica.
Okay.
So, or Slayer. We loved those bands, but had so many youth pastors throw out those tapes. So we played that. Then Micah's brother, we had a handful of shows where we would just open up, do our crazy thing. And that part of me where I was class clown would just turn on, where I'd be you know what this show needs is me diving over the the drum riser over this baptismal and just doing that, splitting my chin, like literally just holding pressure on it and singing and bleeding all over myself. We did that like for maybe 5 shows where people would let us open for them. And then Micah's brother Nate went to college and we're like, we should get another drummer. And we tried, and everybody was like, we'd have good drummers come in and they'd hear us play and we sucked. So they just bailed. And so we saved up our money, the big thing in Christian metal was to be industrial. So we added a drum machine, and then later I spent like a bunch of college loan money and got a sampling keyboard. And so we added samples and like some weird sounds, and we're like, oh, we're industrial. Learned about like MIDI sequencing and stuff. And we did that. And then by some chance at a show, this friend of ours found Andy, brought him to us and was like, hey man, I found a drummer for you guys.
They were like, no more samples. No more samples.
Cool. We're this really well-established industrial thrash band. Why don't you come down and hear us jam?
Yeah.
We had just been like, got to this point where like Scott quit living. Like he canceled his lease. He was done with the month-to-month, moved to our apartment that Keith and I were in. So he and his roommate were in there, and a homeless dude that we found at our church. 5 of us in this rent-controlled HUD apartment. We paid, so the rent was $270 a month, and we split it 4 ways.
Oh my gosh.
It was like $65. Utilities were included.
Holy cow.
So we were like, we got to move into a place where we can practice for our band. So we moved into like a house in downtown Denver. There were 6 of us. I think the rent was like $700.
Did the homeless guy come with?
No, he disappeared. He kept losing his ticket.
It would have been great all through your career if this guy just...
He's there.
He's just there, dude. Like in band photos. He didn't do anything. He was just the homeless guy.
It would have been great. As a medical professional right now, I can tell you that dude had like PTSD or some like major concussion incident. He would just forget. Like he had forgotten for years to brush his teeth. And then he would just be like, this tooth just fell out, and he'd have it in his pocket.
That's awfully amazing.
Yeah. So we moved to this place, and then this dude who he was the bass player for the Smiley Kids. Also borderline lived in our house. He found Andy, and then we're just like, come jam with us. In the meantime, I had found Scott. Like I was going to University of Northern Colorado, and he was dating who's his wife now, Stephanie, and she was in Campus Crusade with me. And he was just like, oh man, you're in a band? I want to be in a band so bad. I just started playing guitar. This is the genius of Scott. Like he had played guitar about 8 months, came in our band, was already the best person in the band, like the best songwriter. And then like after playing for 8 months, he's so good. Like, so he was like, yeah, I'll be in your band. He had nothing to compare it to. He had not shopped himself around or anything. So we had Scott and Micah who were good. Keith was getting better, and they kicked me out of playing guitar. They were just like, just sing. Your singing is passable. And so we got Andy to come around and try out. And Andy, didn't own a drum set. He was just like, I think he borrowed somebody's drum set. Maybe he did have his own kit, but he couldn't set it up and play at his house. But just amazing. He was just like shredding, but he played so loud he couldn't hear the samples and the click track or the drums we had. So we were just like, come on, be in our thrash band. We're industrial. Like we could not play together because he would just get so excited and just play so heavy.
Now,
so then
let me interrupt.
Yeah.
Let me interrupt. did you have like a singing, like, did you like a singing background? Were you in choir?
No.
Or did you do any? No, neither was I.
I should have been. I wish my mom fostered this. You know, like she was a professional singer. She sang like in a folk group, and they gigged all over Toledo. And she was training to be like a professional opera singer, and like I guess could have gone pro with it. Like could have done it for a living. But also was the captain of the cheerleading squad at the University of Toledo, and so was just screaming all the time. And her opera coach said, well, you got to pick one or the other. And she picked cheerleading. So she gave up, you know, like her opera career. But like for me, there was no fostering of that at all. Like I think my dad fostered my musical interest, but my mom was just checked out of, you should really work on your singing. Like, yeah. Let's try this. So I just kind of figured out, I think like genetically I had good range, but no training. It was just all just like nobody else wanted to sing. So I ended up doing
I don't have good range. Obviously you've heard me. And for me, Joe, it was the same thing. What'd you say? Your
voice is like a songbird. So
thanks, buddy. Thank you. Sweet, like sweet nicotine nectar.
What you bring is something that I can never bring. Like,
you know what I was called once on a review? Someone reviewed our Soundtrack to a Revolution CD, and they said that I sounded like a Muppet on crack. Was how they say I sing.
I think they were probably they were just like, nice. I'm tired of writing this 5-iron review.
Yeah, they were being too nice
insiders
for me.
On it. No, dude, you sound tough as shit. Like you are cool. I sound like a Muppet. I'm like, hey, everybody.
I think I got to the point where I like my voice and what comes out, but that was the thing with me. I asked you if you had any training. I didn't. Like, I wasn't in choirs. I wasn't in any of that. And for Insiders fans and people that have just heard us from album to album, whether you call yourself a fan or not, you like what you're hearing is me getting better or worse, like however you want to look at it. But from album to album, I'm finding my voice, you know? So when we started in, 96, us just singing in the basement of our church, it's me trying to mimic other singers, like, oh, the lead singer of Mustard Plug kind of sings like this, or this guy kind of sings like that. And you're kind of taking all these different, inspiration from different singers. So like from our 7-inch, which is called Rockin' the Hubcat, from like our 7-inch to Motor City Ska to Fight of My Life to Scalleluja, like you can see the progression and the comfort level where like I find my level, like water finds its level, like where I find where I'm comfortable with my throat. And to be honest with you, I think I found it, I believe I found it on our Soundtrack to a Revolution album. That was our album that we recorded with Royce Nunley from the Suicide Machines.
Yeah.
And I remember being in there and all our old engineers and producers on all our albums, like whenever I would sing, what came out just sounded like me gargling gravel and had that kind of Dickie Barrett from the Boss Tone sound.
Yeah.
And we had all these like producers and stuff that would be like, no, you got to open your pipes. I want you to open your pipes and sing. And so like we would go in there and we'd have like demoed all our songs, and then we got into the studio.
Your pipes.
Like, so for my voice, like they would tell me to like open up my throat and all that stuff. And it ends up then like when I would hear it, they'd be like, yeah, that's perfect. That's what we like. But that's not what I liked.
Yeah.
So I couldn't stand the way like my voice sounded on most of our albums. And then when we got to Soundtrack to a Revolution, we're like basically doing it by ourselves. We don't have a huge record label like behind us, anything like that. And that's where like Royce was just like, I had asked him a question about something. I'm like, well, do you want me to sing this different? And he's like, what do you talk about? Like, do you want to sing it different? And like, finally, like the first time in my life, I had a producer that was like, look, dude, this is your stuff. I'm pushing the button. I'm pushing record.
Yeah.
But like, the way you sing and what you're doing, that's your art. And it was at that point. So it wasn't until Soundtrack to Revolution and then Sinner's Songbook that like what you're hearing on those albums is me in the studio, like thumbs up, like, yes, this is what I want. This is what I had in mind. A lot of the other albums, most of the songs on all those albums are like what I didn't want to sing.
Yeah.
So I had to deal with that. But yeah, so similar to you, no training.
All your producers were just like cashing that check. They're just like, look, man, you paid for an album. If I finish this in 2 weeks,
yeah, I get a bonus.
I get the same amount of money, and you go back out on tour.
Yeah, exactly.
I just now got to the point, like on our current album, which came out like 2 months ago, a month ago.
What's it called? That's the one where you swear on it, right?
Until This Shakes Apart. Yeah, that's the one you swear.
It's called Until the Shit Hits the Fan.
Until the shit hits.
Yeah. Demonic laugh.
Yeah, like I still don't like my voice. I want to sound like somebody else.
No, I think I love it.
But I've accepted it. Thanks, Joe. No, but I'm like, this is what I got. But I've gotten to the point where I can control what I've got. And not well, but better. So I don't want to say I'd never had any vocal stuff, because I did, like between our second and third album, I went to a vocal coach. I think I did 2 1-hour lessons. And it was like a guy, my mom was probably like, I hate this music. See if you can make my son sound better. So she's like, go to this dude. He was a good vocal coach, like, but had no clue, like, about what he's doing. Like, everybody else was kind of operatic style or church singers that this guy coached. But he did teach me, like, how to sing with my diaphragm.
Okay.
Which I think doubled the length of 5 Iron Frenzy, because every tour I would just be like, I feel guilty about not talking to everybody after the show and feel guilty about being the singer. And so I would be the dude packing the trailer. I would like be hustling extra hard to help set up like all the sound gear. And then after the show, I'd be like, I have to talk to everybody that wants to talk to me. I still do this, but I don't care, because if I get sick after a show, we don't have another show for 6 months.
Right. Yeah.
But like, I kind of carry this guilt about that. And then I would just get out there and just shake everyone's hand, get them to cough their flu into my face or whatever, and then get sick every tour. And so this guy taught me, you got to sing like with this muscle. Stop using your throat. Like, your throat just fine tunes it. But like every time you sing a note, act like somebody's just taking a punch into your stomach. Like, just sing with that. Just all the control of everything is in that. So if I learned anything, it was just that. Like, if I just do that, I can get through a show when I'm sick or when I'm hoarse. But like, the other thing is I was just blowing my throat out every night.
Yeah, that's me. I'm like, Steve Buscemi on the Wedding Singer, like, self-taught, no lessons. So I never did anything. So same thing, like I would go out, and because of the way I sing, which is, like I said, like kind of Dickie Barrett-ish from the Boss Tones, like after the first show, my throat was ripped. And then the second show, of the tour, it wouldn't be as bad. And then it's almost like I built up calluses, as the tour went on. But yeah, it was weird, like just coming into your own on that stuff. So anyway, we got sidetracked. I wanted to ask you, because it made me think, like, if you had vocal lessons. But back to Scott's now in the band. When did guys? When Scott's now in it, and he's the best musician of all of you. When did somebody go, you know what, we're going to be a ska band? So
Andy, like, he's still this way. He's so much better. Like, and I want to say this because you said Scott is the best musician in the band. He probably was then. Andy is by far now the best musician, and like Dennis is like he went to college for it. He's amazing. He's such a good
Dennis
musician.
Is fantastic.
Like, if you are like, you sing a note, he'll tell you what note you sang. If you sing just like, hey, what is this bird singing? He'll write out the sheet music for it. That's Dennis. He's brilliant. But like, I just think Andy had nothing but like a set of drums. And now he's a better singer than me. He plays guitar better. He plays bass better. He's brilliant. But Scott, like, just an amazing songwriter. He's I don't know. I can't say enough good things about those guys. They just keep growing in their music. But like Andy at the time had one outlet, and it was playing drums. And like he had been abused by the church like most of us, where he's just like sexually frustrated and been told everything's a sin and just got in there and just beat the shit out of his drums. And it was like his one outlet. Like, so we'd start playing and he'd get into it and then get off because like he was playing ahead of everything and then couldn't hear anything, you know, had like whatever cheap headphones we had picked up at Ross Dress for Less, and he was doing that. And so he just started getting off of it, and we'd just be like, all right, let's work on this new song, or let's try this. And it ended up being what we loved at the time, which was past the industrial thrash, and it was ska and punk. You know, like we were listening to NoFX and Skankin' Pickle and Less Than Jake and Suicide Machines, and that was coming out. We're like, if we're going to jam, it's going to be this shit that we're into.
Do you remember the song that got you? Like, do you remember hearing a band, like a ska band, a song, and thinking, like, what is this music?
Yes.
Did you have that moment? What was it for you?
It was Skankin' Pickle. God, what is that album? It's their third album. It's like Skankin' Pickle with their friends. It was that and Bob from NoFX off of White Trash, Two Heaves and a Bean.
Yeah.
Just being like, this is so cool. Plus there's horns. And the upbeat, like the upness of it. Like everything about being in a thrash band and an industrial band was just darkness. And it was so counter to our personalities. So all of a sudden there was like this punk and happy ska horns, and it was like rebellious and it was aggressive, but it was also fun. And so we started playing that just jamming, and we're like, we were so cocky. We were just like, we should make this be our side project. Let's keep this. We'll do like we'll table it, but let's get Andy to play quieter and we'll still do our other band. And so we had a show coming up, and we asked the promoter, we were headlining. Like our band, our industrial thrash band had gotten to the point where we're like, we could headline and 30, 40 people would show up. Still not good. We were still not good. But it was something, and it was Denver. Like Denver did not have a good scene, so you could be not good. Okay. And so we were just like, can our other band open up for our other band? So we did. We played. It was Five Iron Frenzy, and then this band called Human Soup, which became a band called Rackets and Drapes, which was a fairly big, like kind of like goth band.
Okay.
In the Christian scene. And then Exhumator, our other band, headlining. So we started Five Iron. We had 3 songs. We're like, let's just play these 3 songs, stuff we've been jamming. 2 of them were ours, and one was a cover of Amy Grant, Everywhere I Go, which ended up on our first album. And people just went nuts. They just lost their minds. Like, they heard us playing, and it was like, all of a sudden we're like, oh, this is what it's like when people like your music. This is the thing.
That's funny.
This is why we're doing this.
That's funny.
While Human Soup was playing, we were just like, it's over. Like, let's make this the last show for Exhumator. And we did. We played it. But obviously, we're just like, no one cares about this. Like, Five Iron Frenzy. We're doing Five Iron Frenzy. Brad, our trumpet player, was at the show, and he had gone to Exhumator because he was just like, I like Christian music, and he would go to everything. He was such a cool dude. He is the coolest guy. Yeah. We're just like, he was like, man, you have a ska band. It's so cool. I play trumpet. And we're like, you're in the band. Show up at this house. And like within a month, he was living in this house.
Oh,
so
that's
it was
funny.
Me, Andy, Scott, Scott's old roommate, Keith, the homeless dude. Probably Fleisch, the guy that found Andy, who was in the Smiley Kids. And Micah never came and lived with us, because he had a super good gig at his folks. But then we were like, Micah's like, I think my cousin plays saxophone. She was in. Like, I don't think we even had to have her try out. We're just like, you're in, you play.
Oh, that's funny.
And then we went to this Presbyterian church. Our pastor heard us talking about adding these horns, and he's like, I think this guy that leads worship plays trombone. And Dennis, like a month before that, had just like been to the point where he's just like, God, if you don't want me to play trombone, I give it to you. I give up. And all of a sudden we're just like, have you thought about playing trombone?
Oh yeah.
So he was in, and at the time, the best musician. He's so good. Like, it's hard to compare the people in our band, except for me. I suck.
Yeah, that one song that he wrote about Seasons, was that on your second album, newest album ever?
Oh, geez.
But that Season song, that was fantastic. Yeah,
I'm still getting ASCAP checks from that. It somehow they played it on ESPN. And
seriously?
Yeah, somehow we still get checks for that. Like you get that like $16 a year where you just like,
I just got $20 from BMI for my royalties for
on me.
Yeah, 2020's royalties. I remember for me, I was like a jock kid growing up. I didn't have all these friends like in underground music scenes. I played soccer, hockey, all that stuff.
What did you play in hockey?
I liked playing goalie.
I played goalie, Joe.
Yeah, and it's same in soccer. I played I've always been like drawn to like the goalies
because you cover half the goal.
It could have been. In fact, that's what it was when I played soccer. My very first day of practice, like we show up, we're like 6 years old, and I'm like 5.5 feet tall. The next tallest kid is 3 feet tall, and they're like, you're goalie. And so I was goalie from then on. I loved it, loved the position.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so, but I was never like, my music was whatever was on the radio. So if it was on the radio, that's what I listened to. I didn't even realize there was like underground music scenes, nothing. And then I came home from school one day, like my sophomore year, came home from school, and ESPN2, it had a show that used to play at about 3:00, 3:30, and it would show skateboarding, surfing, all that stuff, and play like music videos to it. And I turned it on that day, and I'm watching this surfing video, and it was Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Someday I Suppose.
How cool is that?
And that hit me like a ton of bricks, and I was glued to the TV set, and I was making sure, how like when music videos used to play down like in the left-hand corner, like toward the end, it would say like who the artist was, the album, the song. Yeah. It would have all the information down there. I was like, I cannot miss this. And so it showed it flashed it down there. It said Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Someday I Suppose. I wrote it down, and there was a snowstorm that night. I drove my car in this snowstorm up to Blockbuster Music, asked the kid there if he knew what this band was. He's like, oh, absolutely. He was like a punk kid. Pulls me out the tape of Don't Know How to Party. It was off that album. And so I have this cassette tape of the Mighty Mighty Bosstones, Don't Know How to Party, and that's it. Like, other than that, I have like Huey Lewis. I have Vanilla Ice. Yeah, I have like Vanilla Ice, Huey Lewis, Survivor.
Yeah,
like,
that's all right.
All the like music that like my mom listened to, I still love to this day, Phil Collins. Like, that was the stuff. We weren't allowed to listen to metal either, but like my sister was like the bad one. She would get like cassette tapes from like friends that like Metallica's Black Album or Poison, Open Up and Say Ah, or Look What the Cat Drug In. Yeah. And so so that's basically what I listened to. And all of a sudden I have this Bosstones tape. I would talk to my friends about it. Nobody knew who it was. Nobody really liked the music. And then a year and a half later, I meet Nate Sjogren, our drummer. And the reason I met him is a kid that lives down the street from me in school. I see him like looking at this like little record. And I'm like, what is that? And he's like, oh, it's a 7-inch. And I'm like, of what?
Is he just hanging out outside?
Yeah, he was just, he was sitting in class. It was in science class. And so he's looking at this white album, this little 7-inch, and it was white. And it fascinated me. And it's not like I'd never seen albums before. I had records, but I had the black vinyl big LPs. And
Yep.
this is like, and it wasn't a 45. Like 7 inches aren't 45s.
No, but you thought so the first time you saw it, right?
Exactly. And so I'm like, it has a small hole. Like I'm kind of enamored by this white vinyl. And so I asked my buddy Bill, I'm like, what is that? He's like, oh, it's this kid, he's new to the school. He's in like a Christian hardcore band, and he called it a Christian hardcore band, but it was really a straight edge hardcore band.
Yeah.
And he's like, he's selling them. I'm like, how much? He's like, $7. I had no clue what hardcore music was. None of that. I bought it. I found the kid. Nate, and I'm like, are you selling albums? And he looked like I was like from another planet. And I bought his 7-inch, came home, threw it on the turntable, and was just like, what is this? Like this hardcore. It was called Ground State, Ground State. And so
that was his band?
Yeah, Ground State.
Dude, that sounds so tough.
Yeah. So it kind of kicked up this friendship. Me and him started talking. I found out that his parents were pastors, and they had just been like transferred here to Royal Oak. And we just started talking and stuff and kind of hit it off. Well, as I'm talking to him, I'm realizing this kid is too cool for me. Like, this kid is outside. I can talk hockey stats, which he doesn't care about, and sports and all this stuff. Nate didn't care about anything like that. Music was his life. And the only chip that I could bring to the table was this Boss Tones tape. And so I'm trying to connect with him, and it's like, any band that I brought up, he didn't care because he listened to cooler stuff, Orange 9mm, Earth Crisis, Empathy. Who is the other? Like, I remember back in the day, there was a Hare Krishna hardcore band.
The dude from Minor Threat started it.
Yes.
Crap, what is that band?
Dang it, what's the name of them? We'll think of it. If we think of it, we'll put it in editing, post-production. So like, that's what he listened to. And so like one day I'm trying to play my chip, and I asked him, I'm like, dude, have you ever heard of this band called the Mighty Mighty Boss Tones? He's like, heck yeah. I saw him in, Chicago. I've seen him in Milwaukee. When I lived in Milwaukee, they came and they played. He's like, I did stage security for him. And here he is, this like 15-year-old kid, but he was, stocky and built. And he's like, yeah, I did stage security for the Boss Tones and all this. So he was like, I didn't know you liked ska. And I'm like, liked what? And he's like, ska, that's the name of that style of music. And so from that point on, like, I started hanging out with Nate. He like turned me on to like all these other bands, like all these Milwaukee and Chicago ska bands, Wild Kingdom, Siren 6, all sorts. What's another one? The Pacers.
Yeah.
These great bands, from Chicago, Milwaukee area. And then at that point, we actually entered into a high school talent show, or as I like to call it, a talentless show. And we did a band, and we played a Gwar cover for the high school talent show. We did a Gwar cover, and we did a Prong. Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck.
Yeah, that song was so cool.
Yeah. So we did Snap Your Fingers, Snap Your Neck, and we did Sadama Go-Go by Gwar. And
oh my gosh.
Yeah, from that band and like practicing for that, we were like, man, we got to keep this going. We got to have fun with this. And then the Insiders started forming from that, because we asked this guy, Al Brown, who ended up being the Insiders trumpet player, because in the Gwar song Sadama Go-Go, there's a trumpet. And so like we had this ragtag band, and then Al comes in and Al plays trumpet. So when Nate and I were like, yeah, we should start a ska band. Like, there's no ska here in Detroit. Boy, were we wrong there. Detroit had a huge ska scene. And we had some of the best bands around here. We had Gangster Fun. We had the Parka Kings. We had the Suicide Machines. Mustard Plug is from down the road in Grand Rapids. Just so many, the Eclectics, Axe Mama, all sorts of amazing ska bands were in the Detroit area. And then we just ended up, we were like, hey, let's be a ska band. We started doing it, and then we started hitting these clubs and stuff like that with all these, bands that were just amazing and like had the time of our lives. I mean,
yeah.
But Here and Someday, I suppose, just changed the trajectory of my life. I mean, it was, huge.
It was exactly the right time, though, to be like, I love ska and I want to start a band, because we ended up being like at this point in 1996. I remember going to Cornerstone, and it was Feisch again, the guy that found Andy. He came with us, and he was like, dude, I found this other ska band. We should camp with them. And then we found you guys. And we knew of the Supertones because we had gone out to LA, like to Anaheim, to be in some sort of festival, like minor festival at a church. We got asked to go out there because somehow our demo, which wasn't even mixed, got passed off to one of the guys from Alarma. Like it was one of those.
Okay.
One of those, I'm sure you know this dude if I can remember his name. But like he was like, come out here and play at this thing. So they paid our gas money, and we went out there. And we actually we were friends with this band, ska band called Meal Ticket. So we played. So they're like, we got a show this morning. We need an extra band. You guys want to play it? So we played. We opened this thing. It was Meal Ticket and us, and it was Save Ferris's album release party, but it was like an indie album, and we had never heard Save Ferris, so it was like super legit. And we all got sunburned. We were all dehydrated. We were late driving on the highways in LA. We got to this minor festival thing, and the dude gave us a speech, or gave the bands a speech about no stage diving beforehand. And I don't know if I heard it and was like blacking out from dehydration, or we got there too late to hear it. But we were the first band on, and we get up there and we're like playing, and first time playing out of state. I think we had played in Wyoming. We opened up for Mephistopheles at a VFW. But like
I just got their new album on vinyl.
So good.
I got it from the little plug here for Jump Up Records out of Chicago, their Ska Vinyl of the Month Club. I got that Mephistopheles album. But continue. You were playing in Wyoming.
I should have had a sound effect ready for this from my thing. And
the demonic laugh. The demonic laugh would have been great for Mephistopheles. Right.
All right, there we go. Yeah, and like halfway through our first or second song, I was just like, this is the biggest show we've ever played. I'm stage diving. And I did. And it was like a record skipping. Like you just heard them shutting off the power. Just boom! And we were still playing, and people were just like, what? There was like a near riot because
that's funny.
The Supertones were new. They had been around like 3 months, and like same us. Like it was all at the same time. All three of our bands, I think, hit. And so we knew of the Supertones because when we got there, they're like, there's another ska band playing. So we stuck around and heard them. We were like, this is rad.
And you just punched your fist into your hand and like held pitchforks like the whole time. Like as soon as you get off stage, you're getting it.
You're dead. We're going to be the only ones.
Right. Hey, we're going to stop this right here. For those of you listening, you guys, as we do this podcast, this is a 2-part podcast. And Reese is going to let you know what's going on here, but each and every week, you guys are going to get free content that you can listen to on Spotify, you can listen to on iTunes. And then, Reese, tell them about the Patreon and what they get there.
So we're new at this, and this is not our wheelhouse. So I did write notes for this week's episode. One of them was mustache progress, which we'll get to in the next segment. The other one, I'm thoroughly confused about why I wrote this. It's pants, jeans. I don't know.
Yeah.
Next segment we can kind of dissect that, but I also want to talk about the fact that we started up a Twitter account. It is at PB Shop, but PB is capitalized. Otherwise, it won't show up. This is the best I could do. I did put in Pickle and Boot Shop, and it kept doing Pickle and Bow 1. Or then I'd like throw that out. I want Pickle and Boot Shop, and it was Pickle and Bow 2. So we got Pickle and Bow 1 through 3. If anybody needs those, just write us some sort of letter.
That's going to be the shop right across the street. Pickle and Bows.
Pickle and Bow 1, 2, and 3. They've franchised. But we can, and we also got a email address. It's thepickleandbootshop@gmail.com if you guys want to reach out to us. And then we have the Twitter, PB, at PB Shop, capital PB shop at Twitter, and we now have a Patreon. I don't know what I'm doing. We're figuring this out, but we do have 3 supporters. I tweeted it out this morning to my Twitter supporters or my Twitter people. I don't know. How do you subscribe?
Your tweets? I don't know. I don't do Twitter. I do
don't do it
Instagram
very
and
well.
Facebook, I think.
I enjoy reading people's tweets, but I don't like making it. I feel like it's like you can't erase it or edit it. So I'm just like, at one point, I'm going to end my career right here. Like, I'm going to end my career in nursing and as a singer. I'm going to say something wrong and tweet that out or just spell it wrong. I had a typo in the tweet I sent out.
Smell it wrong.
Yeah, it's going to happen. So right now, our first...
Well, tell them where to go for the Patreon.
I don't know how you do that. I guess you just go to Patreon and type in Pickle and Boot Shop. I don't know. Or check us out on Twitter, and there is a tweet about it. I don't know. I'll figure this out before next week, but you can support us on Patreon at the Pickle and Boot Shop. Our first supporter, he came about in 5 minutes. He's my good friend Bill Shannon, number 1, supported us. And then came Reed Young.
Bill Shannon,
who is also the administrator for the I Hate 5-Iron Frenzy fan group on Facebook, if you guys don't know. The name
Bill Shannon sounds like he should have been like a tight end for like the 49ers in the 70s.
He was. Look him up, Wikipedia. And then Reed Young support us. He put a note, said we should also let people call into the show, and that should be one of the
that'd be
tiers.
Tricky. That'd be tricky, but yeah, we could do it. We absolutely could do it. But so everyone knows what we're getting at. Each and every week, the Pickle and Boot Shop, there will be an hour of free content. And then for those that sign up and become a subscriber on Patreon, there's different levels, and we'll do more, either a half hour or another hour, however long we're flowing. You'll get more content, more stories, kind of things like that. And then also with the different tiers, you get stuff with those tiers. So tell them what those tiers are.
First tier is $5 a month. It is the Sweet Pickle. And what you get for that is all of our extra stuff, the extra half hour or hour. It's a digital download, right? I haven't figured that out, but we'll make it happen.
Yeah.
Somehow you will digitally download. And then second, Dill Pickle, $10 a month. You get a yearly mystery prize. It depends on how many people do this, but it's going to be something fabulous. Like, I have a T-shirt that I wore all of last year, every 5-Iron show. It's a Clash shirt. It's in Japanese. Somebody tore off the sleeve, and I kept wearing it. But I wore it because I thought it would be funny if no one could tell what show they were at from the pictures.
Nice.
So I have that shirt. I have also replaced it. I'm going to keep wearing it for the next round of 5-Iron shows. So I don't know. We'll figure out some sort of prize, yearly mystery prize, but it's going to be amazing.
Yes.
The next one is $20 a month, jalapeno pickle, and that is both the extra recording, the yearly mystery prize, and this is your choice. Every year that you support us, you will get a birthday greeting, a gender reveal, like we can do your outgoing voicemail, or what my favorite is, Joe and I will start a riot in downtown Cleveland based on you and your personal feelings toward the marine mammals of Lake Erie.
There you go.
However you feel about it. You know, if you're like, I love, the water rats. What are those things called? They swim.
Gophers
of the water. We will start a riot based on that, if you're pro or con.
Yeah.
And then lastly, the final tier, habanero pickle of untimely death. We do all the other things. You get the yearly mystery prize, extra recording, the birthday gender reveal, voicemail, or riot. And then your own theme song recorded for you each year. You get input on this. You're like, you know what? I wanted to say that. I want it in the style of Shaft. And I wanted to say that I am a badass. I'll do that.
Yeah.
And either Joe or I will sing on it, and you will get one of those.
Or both.
Rap battles, you make it up.
You tell us.
One of those every year, but it's $50 a month, which seems like an awful lot of money. But, each year you do that, you will get a theme song for you recorded.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you get the digital stuff, you get the mystery prize, you get basically a cameo if you guys are familiar with that. Like a cameo if you need Reese or I to tell somebody happy birthday, or that you're breaking up with them, or tell your boss that you quit, any of that stuff, or anything like that. We can do it. Let us know. And we can record those for you, send it to you, similar to, like I said, like a cameo. And then that last one is you get a custom song. You tell us what you want us to sing about, and Reese will knock that sucker out. And I'll cheer him on as his creativity juices flow.
You're in on it. You're gonna sing on it.
I'll do spoons. I'll play the spoons.
It's gonna be incredible.
So that's the Patreon, guys. And so go check it out. Go to Patreon, look us up, The Pickle and Boot Shop. This will be the end of the free content right here. So guys, have a good time.
Boot time! Pickle and boot time! Don't be fickle, get your pickle cider, pop a nickel in your boots. Not a place of ill repute. Bring your grandma and your kids. Come for the pickles, stay for the squids. Stay for the squids.
For more shows like this one, visit rockcandyrecordings.com.